Hey, I'm Scotty. Thanks for listening to Retell, a series by Rebuy, where we recap the top AI tech and e-commerce stories from last week and share why they matter this week. So let's dive into those top stories. Shopify had two announcements last week, the first one being the launch of the Shopify Entrepreneurship Index, which is billed as, quote, the world's first home for data and insights on global entrepreneurship across 40 countries and all US states. Updated quarterly, some highlights of this first edition of the index were Shopify entrepreneurs all over the world supporting over 5.2 million jobs, generating $27.7 billion of exports, contributing $229.3 billion to GDP, and creating over $490.5 billion in economic activity. Shopify's second announcement was the result of a months-long study where they partnered up with one of the big three global management consulting companies to find out which checkout across all major commerce platforms was the best at converting. So here's Harley Finkelstein, Shopify president, with that answer.
Today we're sharing results from a months-long study done by a big three global management consulting firm. And the results are astounding. Shopify converts up to 36% better than competitors like Salesforce and 15% more on average.
The study also went on to show the power of ShopPay, Shopify's accelerated checkout, which compared to a guest checkout can lift conversions by as much as 50%. Switching gears to AI news, Sam Altman, chief executive of OpenAI, testified before Congress last week. OpenAI, of course, the creators of the revolutionary ChatGPT. Altman fielded a range of questions from Congress, speaking about his optimism for the future of AI despite its potential to take away jobs. And he also outlined how he thought government could regulate companies like his with a 3-point proposal for regulation. Those points being, form a new government agency charged with licensing large AI models and empower it to revoke the license for companies whose models don't comply with government standards. Create a set of safety standards for AI models, including evaluations of their dangerous capabilities. For instance, models would have to pass certain tests for safety, such as whether they could self-replicate and exfiltrate into the wild, that is to say, go rogue, and require independent audits by independent experts of the model's performance on various metrics. Mr. Altman was also asked what his worst fear for artificial intelligence was in the future, and he had this to say.
My worst fears are that we, the field, the technology, the industry, cause significant harm to the world. I think that could happen in a lot of different ways. It's why we started the company. I think if this technology goes wrong, it can go quite wrong. And we want to be vocal about that. We want to work with the government to prevent that from happening. But we try to be very clear-eyed about what the downside case is and the work that we have to do to mitigate that.
In related news, on Thursday of last week, OpenAI announced a smartphone app version of ChatGPT for iOS. The app is free to use and syncs up with your history across all devices. Currently only available in the US with plans to roll it out to other countries in the coming weeks. And the company also announced that they are working on an Android version of this app, which should be coming shortly. Our last story of the week, Meta's new app, tagline Instagram for your thoughts, is set to come out by the end of June. We've already spoken on Retell about this new Twitter-like app. It's been known as Project 92, P92, or Barcelona. Well, Leah Haberman, instructor of social media and influencer marketing at UCLAX, also the writer of In Case You Miss It newsletter, plugged down below, you gotta check it out. She's an absolute must follow. She showed a sneak peek of the app in her latest newsletter. Podcast listeners, check the show notes. What we're looking at here on screen is a mashup of like Twitter and Instagram. Haberman reported a source told her a few details about this project after they met with Meta. Some of these details include the decentralized app is built on the back of Instagram and uses a single sign-on associated with your Instagram username and password. The app has a centralized feed showcasing your followers and recommended content. You can share text updates up to 500 characters long, along with links, photos, and videos, which can be up to 5 minutes. Haberman also reported there's currently no plans for monetization or ads on the platform. That could always change, but let us know, would you be interested in using an app like this? I'm kind of curious and interested because it uses so much of Instagram, imports all your followers if you want. But then again, there's just some tools on Instagram like Notes that are just barely used that I see other accounts doing. So it'll be curious to see what adoption is of this new app as it rolls out. That's all for this episode of Retell. If you like this episode, please leave us a rating, review, or subscribe on whatever platform you're listening from. Rebuy is the fastest growing app for Shopify Plus and the trusted commerce AI platform for thousands of top brands across the world. Check out RebuyEngine.com and learn how Rebuy's intelligent shopping experiences can boost your business's AOV, conversions, and LTV. That's all for now. We'll be back next Monday to retell the week's top stories. Until then, take care.